Hello there, I'm Benjamin Baker, also known as EG.DeMusliM, playing for Team Evil Geniuses. And I'm here, brought to you by Beyond Gaming, to give you guys some tips and advice on things that maybe don't enter your head immediately when playing this game. If you're playing it just for fun, that's cool. But when you bring it, or when you play it as a job, you need to think about this game more than just fun. You need to really approach this game with a mindset of winning, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this game. I can't do things just for fun. I have to play things to win. And so this game's all about patience, taking correct fights, and doing things slowly, not going Rambo and doing things as fast as you can. If you've seen those videos where people have like 500 APM and they're doing things all over the map at the same time, that's cool and stuff, that'll probably help you out. But a lot of the time it's about being careful and slow and doing things when you're ready to do them, as that's how the game works too. So we're gonna go into this game. So, first of all, here I am as the blue Terran. I'm going to run things on 2x speed since this is a bit of a longer game. So, hey, GGGL, everything going pretty fine. Going to be a very, very standard game between me and this Terran on the Antigua shipyard, spawning cross positions. So, GL, have fun, both got to stay mannered. I'm going to occasionally box the SVs as it's a bit of a habit for me. I do apologize. I'm going to go for a wall in here. I'm walling in pretty much every matchup now, as I like to reveal pretty much nothing to my opponents. He's doing the same by the looks of it, just an SCV at the wall. And he's actually going to scout very, very early, which is not normal, and he isn't walling in. So my wall is going to be very good against his, given that he's scouting exceedingly early with this first SCV, which I don't really think is necessary. And it will decrease his mining amount. If you think of one SCV, mines roughly 40 minerals per minute. And if this SCV is out on the map for way longer than mine, he's losing way more minerals. So I do have a wall off. I am making a tech lab. He's also got a gas. He's making a marine first, and then a tech lab. So he's seen what I'm doing. He knows that I'm making a Reaper. I'm soon going to go over to his base and give him a little look too. So I'm in his base. I see this tech lab. I also see that he made a marine, so I know his Reaper's going to be out way later than mine. So I'm going to take advantage of that and just go straight to the middle of the map. I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that I knew exactly how his base build was, and I'm going to go, and I know his build too, so I'm going to go be pretty risky with this expo and build him way down there. Getting Combat Shield and Marines, he's doing exactly the same. I'll pause this right now. Why Combat Shields instead of Stim? Well, Combat Shield Marines actually beat Stim Marines in low numbers, which that's big in itself. What also happens with Combat Shield Marines is they beat Banshees. A normal Marine, 45 health, will die in 2 shots to a Banshee, dealing 24 damage per hit, given it's got 2 attacks of 12 damage. And so the Combat Shields is actually one of the best upgrades to get early on. Both of us want to be playing safe. Stim's one of those upgrades where you do a drop and you want to do as much damage as quickly as possible. Both of us pretty much know exactly what the opposition was doing, and so we're going to play really, really safe. We're not in the attacking mood right now, and so both going to be going for combat shields, which obviously it's a very good upgrade. It's a defensive upgrade, and we both want to play defensive, especially given it's cross map, and it takes a long time to get to your opponent. So I've got control of this tower with my SCV. I've got control of this little cliff in case he wants to check out my base with a Reaper. And I did this purely because I know he has a Reaper too, given he went for a tech lab. Like, it's very unlikely that you'd go for a Marauder opening. And he's doing exactly the same. He's playing careful too. So he's got these Marines at this back, but I don't have any units out. I'm totally skipping that part. And I'm going full macro. My expo's earlier and more risky. So I'm playing more risky, but safe at the same time. I've got vision. I know exactly what he's doing. So I'm going to keep the replay rolling. Both going for a similar build. He's adding Rexus down, I'm adding Rexus down. But soon it'll deviate, and I'll show you why. I add down a 4th Rex, he doesn't. He's stocking up on gas, we're both stocking up on gas. Very, very similar gas count, meaning we went for very, very similar builds. He's got this orbital in his base, or orbital morphing in his base. I got this expo out and about. So my income will be a little bit higher than his, so that little risk I had did actually pay off. So we're both going to be throwing down quite a few Marines. He's throwing down reactors, which I did scan for. And I did see that he was moving this in. So it's fine that I threw down this scan. My income's going to be ahead for a while anyway, so that scan's paid off for itself. I know exactly what he's doing. I put him on a strategy, and now I know that not much that I can do is wrong, given that I know exactly what he's going to be doing. So I do have this Reaper in the middle of the map. Where's this Reaper? I have no idea, actually. He's got his Marine squad over here. Everything's over here. I do believe the Reaper died over here earlier, actually. My Reaper, yes, my Reaper did kill it. So that was a bit of a miss by me. But either way, so this is just a normal Marine making game. And given that my Harvesters, or my Orbital, was at this base initially, I also got to making SCVs faster than him. And I do kill a Marine and lose my Reaper. So he has middle map control. But my supplies are ahead, my SCVs are ahead. My tech is pretty good too. In terms of medevacs coming out, my medevacs are ahead. So everything's slightly ahead. He does have his first upgrade faster than I, so if we did take a fight right now, with equal Marine count, he would win it. But I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to move out to the middle of the map, sending one Marine ahead first. This single Marine was to scout. If he had his whole army here, and he took a fight with me, he would beat me. So I'm just checking around the map here, which is very, very risky. Picking off a building, an SCV where I can, and I do run into him. This is where I should have been patient. Why did I choose to run up there? If you're close, or let me pause this again. If you're closer to your Terran opponent's base, especially in TVT, all your production is pretty much equal, right? And all of it has to come from the production buildings itself. It's not like you're a Protoss where you can warp in across the other side of the map and you're both on even units. No, these units have travel time, which is exactly what happened here. So I was close to his base. He has 24 Marines here. I have less than 24. My upgrades are also inferior to his, and I scanned him earlier and he had his engineering pay down earlier than mine, so there's no point me going out to that side of the map. But either way, I'm going to carry on the replay. So now I have to regroup, and I know that if we're on my side of the map, we're going to be pretty honky-dory. I'm adding down barracks. I'm not throwing down reactors. The reason I'm not throwing down reactors is that will halt my production, even for a short while. And he is ahead in supply because he took that really good fight, and I'm throwing up my third. I'm being kind of risky. So there is a stim here. Let's count how many Marines he has. He has quite a few. Let's say 34. I have a few more. So I know if this fight does happen, but my 1-to-1 is almost finished. So I'm going to run back. I'm not going to take this fight right now. I'm going to wait for that 1-1 to be finished. Now I'm going to take this fight. Now we're equal on upgrades, but I had more Marines. I kill that tank too, and we're close to my base. So my reinforcements will come out in no time. Do start making an orbital, not going to worry. And so I'm actually doing okay this game. Despite being behind the supply, I'm very comfortable with the position I'm in. I'm getting 2-2. Those barracks just got finished. Going to keep on producing units. I do scan him. I do see what army he has. It's a good army. He started throwing in tanks way earlier than I did. He's got his orbital up there. He's actually ahead in Harvesters, which is pretty crazy. I think I've just been worrying a little bit too much, throwing up way more barracks. And here I am Maynard transferring. Maynard being the guy who invented that pull. And this is where patience comes into play. I could run into this army right now and be like, okay, I'm going to try and cream you. But he's got a nice little choke here. If I run into this choke, I'm going to get smashed. So I'm going to play it patiently. I do scan him. I know I'm on 3 base. I know he's probably not, given that he went for this pretty big push. Also, my 2-2, not finished yet, not finished. I am producing a lot of Marines. I know he won't have nearly as many Rexes as me, since he's producing tanks as well. He's got 2 siege tanks there. I'm going to scout him with this SCV. I know he's still there in that position. He's not unsieged. He's still sieged. So I'm not going to try and fight him when I shouldn't be fighting him. Producing 12 Marines at a time. So my macro is pretty much off the hook. My APM also pretty high. Income-wise, I'm ahead too. So I'm going to wait here. This is when I talk about patience. So I do throw down a supply, getting as much of an army as I can, as quickly as I can. I do see my army is better than his. And I'm already in an arc. So I decide, even though I was saying I was waiting for this 2-2, he took a really bad fight here. I was in a ready-made arc for him. So despite this 2-2 being only like 30 seconds from completion, I know that I can win this fight. This is a fight that I was made to win. And this is a fight that he should no way have been taking. But the pressure was on him. This expo has not been down for as long as mine. Mine is pretty well saturated, as is his, but it hasn't been for long. So this fight's going to take place His tanks are in kind of poor positions. My arc's still good. I'm going to run in there. Even though he does have tanks, it doesn't mean anything when you're outnumbered by so many Marines. And so this fight goes down to the nail, but I took out all his tanks, and we're close to my base. And I know that my 2-2 is kicking in right now, and so any kind of evenly Marine fight, I'm going to win it. So now the supply has turned. I'm going for 3-3. And tanks, while you would think tank Marine would beat pure Marine, it's all about waiting for the right fight. And that's exactly what happened there. As this game goes on, I may be adding tanks. I do realize that, and yeah, here it is. This game did go on. My gas is going to be getting higher. I've spent all my gas on upgrades. And so now I'm going to be going for 3 factory tanks by the looks of it, or even more. Not really sure. I know I've escaped the harsh part of the game where I'm behind because, yeah, he was ahead in tech for a while, the +1. I do try and go for a drop here, which fails. So even while this fight was happening over here, I did send a drop over here. So it was patience again. I sent a drop to his base. And while the dropship did die, and 6 Marines died with it, this stopped his mining for a significant length of time. My income's way ahead of his. The only reason his is so high because he had 3 meals over here, but it could be so much higher. So I stopped his mining for a long time. I now know it's my time, and I start moving across the map. I've got better grades than him. I scan, I make sure everything's fine. I see he does have another command center going down, as do I, so I can't take full advantage of that. My army isn't as big. We're closer to his base now. He can keep reinforcing as fast as he wants, and he is actually producing more Marines than me at a time. This is when I'm switching into tank tech. And Marine-wise, if he produces 1 more every volley, that's okay. His 2-2 is soon done. So he's done now on 2-2. So he's pretty even with me. But he also has tanks in the mix. So me at this point, I'm a bit wary. I'm again like, okay. I also had a drop over here, by the way, which got killed by a turret. So again, my drops did not do very well. That was 10 supply lost over here and 10 supply lost over here. So technically, I should be 20 supply ahead of what I am right now, but I'm not at all. 3-3, kind of close to being done, about a minute away in game time. So I have to be a bit careful right now. And I know that I got 2-2 way before he did, so I know I'm in no rush to make any kind of move. I know he's behind me in upgrades, and I know that I'm making tanks. These tanks are going to be pretty critical in any future fight, and I'm making them from 3 factories too. He does have this base. I don't know about it. I start sending a Marine over to the middle just to check if he does have this base, and now I know he does have it. So I've scouted everything that's going on. He's taking a pretty bad fight. He was busy killing these rocks, and I know I can take this fight right here, right now, because again, he was in a bad position. Even though my 3-3, my 3-3 is complete now, it was only a few seconds away. It was well worth taking that fight, no matter how close my upgrades were from completion. So I know he has this base. I know I have to pile on the pressure now. My 3-3's done. I know I've got roughly a minute or 2 before his 3-3's done, and I've got tanks now too. So supply-wise, that was a definite victory for me. He was busy fighting these rocks. His arc was bad. I attacked him from this huge flank. He was stuck in this little clump here. I had tanks ready, which I don't think he expected at all, given I was playing very bio-heavy. And this is where I can start setting up the contain that he had. But this is a properly placed contain. If I limit him to just these 3 bases, which I know I'm mining out because I know mine are, and I'm putting up this gold, then everything's going to be pretty darn fine. I scan here. I see his army. I know that my Marines are doing so much damage, so I can go take out that orbital instantly. And that's 1 less mule and 1 less command center he has that I know I'm ahead of the game on. So I'm long distance mining. Don't want to mine out these too fast. And gold, even if you are long distance mining, it's pretty decent. In Warcraft 3, which is the game I previously played, that was pretty common. So again, I've seen his army. I know I can dominate it. I know I haven't got long left. On his upgrades completing, I scanned him. I made sure the upgrades weren't ahead of mine. And I am going in for the kill, which is exactly what's happening here. And this is me taking out all his medevacs, which in bio versus bio are so important. So using a small squad to kill that. Got my Marines mainly over here, away from, or near this ramp. So if he does charge down this ramp, I can sort him out. And just a small squad of Marines cleaning up over here. So way ahead in supply at this point, still producing. He's producing too. He still does have a chance in this game, but when this completes, his chances are slowly dwindling. My macro's still producing really well. He did do a drop over here, which did get cleaned up. and it did a little bit of damage by the looks of it, but not enough to be of any major importance. My tank did kill his tank. He's got a decently sized army now, and he does have 3-3. And this is one thing that he does that's really neat against tanks, actually. So I will credit him on this, and I will probably be stealing it in the future. This single medevac, which that looked like it was going on a suicide mission just then. Look at this. Siege tanks target the closest marine, and so he flew that one medevac in, and the tanks wasted their volleys on single marines. And so he does clean up this army pretty smoothly. I'm still well ahead on supply. I start picking off these tanks with a small group of renegade marines. Let's call them Trojans for now, since they're pretty awesome. And I am ahead in supply by quite a bit. His production is limited to these minerals and these two. So he has to fly about. He's going to try and land at this gold. I'm even taking this one with my main base, as I don't really need gas anymore. So I'm doing pretty well. I do have this gold too, so my income is pretty insane compared to his. This fight, it's so good for me right now. I feel so confident that I can take inefficient fights, but that was pretty good. And a GG is called. So, and he loves my stream. What a lovely chap. So everything went really well that game. There's a few mistakes that I made, losing drops. I should have paid attention to turrets a bit more. But in general, everything went pretty well. I waited for the right time to attack, even given that he had a higher tech army and better upgrades for a short while. You just have to wait for your time to attack. Even though my upgrades were literally seconds from being done, I saw that the time was now, that I could maybe kill 12 Marines, losing very little. And yeah, it just made perfect sense to attack at those times. I played very patient for most of it. He got pretty leery, I'll say, and took little positions that he really shouldn't have done, and that caused me to pounce on him. And so if I was playing patient for 5 minutes and then eventually I leapt on him, even though it wasn't quite the right time for me, that would have totally taken him by surprise, which is exactly what happened that game. So I'd like to say thank you for Beyond Gaming for presenting this to you. You can go check them out at www.beyondgaming.com. And also, if you'd like to check out me further, or my teammates, which consist of Hydra and Huck and Puma, many great names out there, even in Control, and Machine. You can check them out on myeg.net. So thank you very much.